Yes, team. Hello, everyone. I am late. How is everyone doing? I just thought we would start a little bit, well, not earlier, but don't let the timer run out. What's up? What's up? How you doing, Mark? How are you doing? I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for asking. How are you? South Africa, love to see it. Goedemiddag. Goedemiddag. Hello, hello, hello. Love to see it. Love to see it. I'm a little bit late. That is because I was, it's pretty funny actually, because I made a video on it for the mentorship, and I'll touch on it a little bit here as well. But I made a video on it for the mentorship about daylight time savings, and I somehow forgot myself that yeah, the live stream should also be a little bit earlier, an hour earlier, of course, for me. It's very funny. But yeah, from Dubai, love to see it. Love to see it. From US, Arius helped me become profitable, so thank you. Thank you. Love the way you break. Love it. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. And it's all you. I only give the indications, and you have to do the hard work yourself. So don't worry. All credits to you, my friend. Love to see it. I'm doing good, Asim. Thank you. Thank you. I am doing good. Let me go over the first question right here. Does the times of the kill zones change due to daylight time savings? No, the kill zones stay the same if, of course, you use New York local time. New York local time, the kill zones don't change. They stay the exact same. It's very easily answered in a sense. And let me see. Higher love from India. Love that. Just a quick question. Would you take the trade outside of the sessions? Yes, I would. Depending on if news is supporting the ID. So that time frame between, usually on Forex, because Indices, yes, I want to trade the kill zones only, the sessions only. On Forex, if we have that time zone between that London and New York session right there, that kill zone, that is where I can take trade. Yes. For sure, for sure. Alright, can you please do the video about fake tops combined with the market structure? I struggle on how to use. Yes, let's do that. That is a great suggestion, actually. That is a great question. Hi, are also from, what is that? SA South Africa? Goeiedag, mijn broer. I love that. Love that. I like that. Hey, Dennis, how you doing? How you doing? Adrian, love to see it from Poland. Nepal, love that. No pre-London entries, indeed. Correct, Maximus. Correct. India, Mac. Come on, let's go. Hank, love to see it. Hank is probably the most Dutch name there is. Love that. You haven't checked your email from the last week forecast. Really? Haven't? I believe I went over a few. Okay, that's good to know though, Mac. Let me go over that as well. So if you have any emails or you send me any emails, then I will go over them. No worries at all. I came up from only 7.5 loss, risking only 0.25 since I found your fit 2 weeks ago. I'm so grateful saving up to join your mates. Love that, Marlon. And that is insane, actually. 7.5% drawdown, risking only 0.25% to then come back to break even. That is crazy. That is crazy, and that takes a lot of discipline. That takes a lot of discipline to do that. Hans is more Dutch. Yeah, that's true, MF. That is true. I also saw the comment before I actually turned on the microphone. MF, the all right, perfect. You already have it. The all right, perfect. All right, perfect. Thank you. Love that. Love that. Let's start, bro. A few minutes, my friend. We're already starting. Come on. I know you're excited. Let's see. I'm doing great, Phil. Thank you. Love to see you again. Love that. Question about your last video. If there's a mitigated fair value gap in our run, can it still be considered low resistance? Yeah, so that is, again, that leads back to that, what is that? Reading the fair value gap. So if a fair value gap is already weak, considered in our eyes weak, then that is also low resistance, of course. So yes, that is a great question, and that is indeed correct. All right, perfect. Let's go over a few things right here. Let's go over the weekly forecast first, of course, and afterwards we go over the rest of the questions, etc. So right now on the dollar, I want everyone to be aware right here that in a few days, 2 days and 10 hours right there, we are creating a monthly fair value gap. So how can we tell if the daily wants to still expand higher, if we want to come into the monthly value gap, whatever we want to do. Let's actually clean the chart a little bit as well. And right there, perfect. So how do we know that? Well, the monthly fair value gap right there, that is being created. How can we tell if we want to trade into that next week? And I do think that might happen right there if we get one simple sign. And the simple sign right there is failing to follow through off of this daily fair value gap. That will indicate that we will trade into the monthly fair value gap right there. So that again leads back to the fair value gap telling us a story, where if the fair value gap is telling us right there that is just simply not strong enough and it doesn't want to follow through right there, not create a new fair value gap higher, that indicates to me we want to trade into the monthly fair value gap to then potentially continue higher right there. So that is exactly what could be interesting. Currently as well, we have on Wednesday, we have FOMC. On Friday, we have NFP. Monday, there's no news for US dollar. This week, I would want to look at the crosses more so than I want to look at the US dollar pairs. So everything that I'm going to go over, US dollar pairs are currently very 50-50 for me because I'm also not going to trade them. I will be on the sidelines for US dollar pairs. I will mainly go over the crosses, which I will be trading. So that is, of course, also important to note. So right here, I would prefer the trade into the monthly fair value gap, or not to trade into the monthly fair value gap, but seeing a move into the monthly fair value gap to continue higher, because then everything is in context again, and that is very nice. That could happen during FOMC and potentially even NFP as well. So take that into account. ES right here, and going over all the indices at once actually. NASDAQ right here reached our target, which we had. Let's delete everything again, just so we have a clear mind going into the chart. We reached that overlapping part right there. Now, this is quite interesting because here we could potentially continue higher. If we want to continue higher, of course, we need to see signs from the lower time frame as well. But right here, what I would like to see, because this is a fake bottom in my eyes right there. And I'll tell you why. On the 4-hour, this is just the lack of intention, the way this fake bottom has formed right there. If we want to go higher, then I'm expecting a sweep of these lows to then continue higher and show bullish intentions as well right there. Where we can potentially target a daily fair value gap, etc. right there. Even potentially this daily fair value gap right there. That could be quite nice. But again, that is still waiting. That is still me on the sidelines a little bit. But I am expecting a sweep of that low right there. If we get a sweep of that low, then I would be interested in longs mainly. But we can still continue lower. If we want to see this monthly high right there overlapping with the fair value gap hold, then we would need more bullish signs. As in 4-hour high probability lags holding, daily ST holding right there, daily fair value gap higher right there holding. That is what we would want to see. That is the same on YM. And YM, we have these lows right there, which on the weekly are just those lows. And on ES, we have the exact same. Of course, I'm not trying to call a bottom. So that is also important to understand. I'm not trying to call a bottom right here, where I'm trying to catch a bottom on the 1-hour time frame. No. That's not what I'm doing. But I need to wait for some more price action right here. So that is very important to understand, because we can also very easily still continue lower. So that is quite important to understand. Where if the dollar, of course, comes into that monthly fair value gap and does show bullish signs right there, then eventually ES, NASDAQ will also follow, where it will do something like this and then continue lower off of that. So that is important to also understand right there. That I'm a bit 50-50 now on the US dollar instruments and US dollar pairs, because a lot of them reached the targets that we had. So from here, it is either, and the reason why we have those targets is, of course, because those targets, they can push price higher. They can follow through and create that new context higher as well. But that is not 100% certain, right? So we need to get more price action to work with to see what it does want to do, more indications. And with FOMC and NFP, I would rather wait a week, sacrifice 1 week to have a lot of profits in the coming weeks. That is also very important. So right there, that is what I think about indices, etc. Let's clean this up as well. Whereas DAX right here could also reach for this low first, right there. Afterwards, potentially long-term, that monthly fair value gap as well could reach for it. But I need more price action to tell me what it does want to do right there. Then Australian dollar, US dollar. So this is quite interesting actually. With the dollar potentially coming into that monthly fair value gap, Australian dollar, US dollar could finally also come into that monthly value gap if there is enough volatility, of course, to do it. So right here on the weekly, daily, I am not interested in getting involved at all. And we mentioned this for the past couple of weeks as well, where it's just very low probability. We mentioned it actually already since September, something along the lines of that. So I don't want to get involved right here. I either want to wait for the monthly value gap or clear bearish new signs as well, which is just a new clear weekly or monthly fair value gaps lower right there ideally. Until then, I'm just waiting right here. Then EU right now, this is also very interesting. Of course, just inversed from whatever the dollar is doing. But we still have this monthly target right there. And we now also have this monthly fair value gap that is sitting right there. So that is quite interesting. Whereas right now, we also have the weekly fair value gap that was sitting right there. We swept this high, created a daily fair value gap lower off of it. Then this right here, this daily fair value gap will be the indication if we want to push lower first or want to come into the monthly fair value gap. Again, same thing as on the dollar, where if we if we respect that daily fair value gap and we create a new daily fair value gap lower off of that, then I would say target those lows. If not, and we mess around here, then I would say, all right, monthly fair value gap first to then that monthly fair value gap right there. So that is what I am potentially looking at as well. Again, it's orange for me. The reason for that is because it's on the waiting list right now. Waiting, more so waiting for it. Same exact thing for GU. Also have this monthly fair value gap that is sitting right there. That is exactly what I am waiting for, potentially seeing what we want to do right here. Do we want to respect this or do we want to disrespect this daily fair value gap right there? That is very important for me right now, that I'm more so on the sidelines for US dollar. I'm going to repeat that a lot to get it very clear. So I'm waiting to whatever it wants to do, to which signs it will show. And on a Tuesday live stream, we will of course touch on it more as well, because we will have a better indication. But even then, we have FOMC as well coming up. So right here on New Zealand dollar, US dollar, the thing I am potentially interested in is that weekly fair value gap right there. That could be quite nice to continue lower off of eventually if the dollar also comes into the monthly fair value gap, etc. Then that could be quite nice, of course. And daily fair value gap or daily doesn't have fair value gap lower, so this is all low probability. So that weekly fair value gap right there, that is something we could trade into to then potentially continue lower. We do have to see what it wants to do right there. So that is quite nice. On the 4 hour, you could potentially look, if we have 4 hour fair value gaps higher, look for longs right there to target that weekly fair value gap as well. That could be quite nice. All right, USD Canadian dollar right here. Now, this is one where the drawn liquidity, again, that high we just reached, that high is pretty clear. And now we have some nice daily fair value gaps to work with again. So if now we can create a daily fair value gap either there, or we can come into that daily fair value gap right there, then that is very nice to continue higher off of. That is one where I would argue, all right, this is probably one of the nicest US dollar pairs right now, currently. So that is where it switched, because last time I said I didn't really like this, but currently I do quite like this because we're close to that drawn liquidity as well. And EU, of course, GU can also be quite nice if it meets certain criteria. USDCHF right here. We had this weekly fair value gap, and that is something we can target. Now, daily right here, ideally a daily fair value gap higher, which we are already reaching almost that weekly fair value gap. Off of that, if we do want to continue lower off of that after this sweep as well, then we can do that. I would just need a little bit more confirmation. So potentially a 4 hour fair value gap lower to then target lower, potentially. That is it. Currently not too certain on what it wants to do right now. A little bit 50-50, of course. If the dollar wants to continue higher, then USD might just disrespect everything and just continue higher here as well. So a bit 50-50 right there. A bit 50-50. Would need more price action. USDJPY. This is also something I do not want to trade at all. And we mentioned it as well in the previous forecasts, of course, where right here we had that slippage problems. And as well, the price action itself is just not that nice. Then on silver is also something right now I do not want to trade. if I do want to trade it, I would likely look at longs, but I need a clear discount rate that we can head higher from. Potentially the weekly fair value gap right there, but on daily 4 hour, we can see it's just very messy price action right there. Don't really want to get involved. On gold, right here, on gold, we saw that sweep, that potential sweep. And this is again what I mentioned with that resistance. This is that 50-50 area that you're seeing right there. A very 50-50. Respecting the swing high and respecting that fair value gap. It's very 50-50. So that's not ideally where you want to get involved. But right here, when you have that new daily fair value gap higher, that is quite nice to potentially get involved and to target higher. We also have a weekly fair value gap below it. That weekly fair value gap is pretty low right there. As in this candle, the weekly candle is not really saying, all right, I do want to trade into that weekly fair value gap. Could happen, of course. But on the daily right here, daily fair value gap higher would be fine for me to target those highs. Bitcoin, I am still 50-50 on right here. And the reason for that is because right now we can continue lower off the monthly CB or continue higher. I would need daily fair value gaps to tell me what it does want to do right now. But currently just want to sit on the sidelines as well. Crude oil right here. So crude oil, I do still think we are heading towards that low right there. I do not want to short towards that low. I want to wait. If we do come into that low, look for bullish signs right there. If we do not come into that low, then I just want bullish fair value gaps to create higher. So daily fair value gaps ideally to continue higher off of that. Until then, I'm still waiting. Nifty is also where we reach the target. So again, this is where we sort of take a step back again, right? We take a step back right here, reach that monthly target, which we can continue higher off of as well. Right there. And here you want to, again, wait. Now on the 4 hour, if we create 4 hour ST, which we already have right there, come into that, continue higher, create a new fair value gap higher off of that, then that could be very nice to potentially target new monthly highs as well. So that could be quite nice, but currently just want to wait again. When those targets are reached, I just want to wait. Now, to give you something interesting, because of course I am looking at something, I'm just not really interested in these pairs right here currently for the coming week. What I am looking at is shorts on Euro CHF right here, which is quite nice. Monthly context is done. Weekly context is what we're having right now. Weekly context to continue lower off of that. That could be quite nice. So that is exactly what I am looking at. Australian dollar CHF right here, where we have this weekly fair value gap to continue lower off of that right there. That is also what I am currently looking at. GBP Australian dollar, we also have this weekly fair value gap. We had a sweep of that fake top right there. On the daily, the 4 hour or the daily right here, we had daily fair value gap lower. I need some more price action here to work with. The ones you see at the top are the ones I'm most interested in. So Euro CHF, Australian dollar CHF, those are the ones I'm most interested in. Then GBP Australian dollar, I need some more bearish price action to work with for me to potentially be interested. But I do think we can target that low potentially right there. Canadian dollar CHF right here. We had a sweep of those highs right there, which we mentioned last week as well. If we can get a 4 hour fair value gap lower right now, then that might also be interesting to target this monthly low right there, because we're still in the monthly context potentially. Then Canadian dollar JPY, we swept that monthly high right there. So on the daily basis, if we have a daily fair value gap lower right now, we can just target this monthly fair value gap that is sitting right there potentially, which is right there. So that is also quite nice. New Zealand dollar CHF, we have completed the monthly context right now. So weekly context is also quite nice to continue lower off of that. That is what I am currently interested in for shorts coming into the week. That is my main interest. Then on the longs, this is also quite interesting, where we have Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. We are very close to the drawn liquidity, no resistance. So on the daily or the 4 hour even, just this right there, that is exactly your silver bullet, because that is just your last fair value gap with no resistance. That is a silver bullet setup right there to then continue higher. That is exactly what you would want to see. So that right there is perfectly fine for me to take an entry off of to target that high. This is what I'll already be interested in on Monday itself. Because Monday we have Euro and Australian dollar news. Then Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. We also have this target, which on the weekly swing high right there after sweeping these lows right there. Then potentially after that reaching this fair value gap. Could be quite nice. Then on the daily, I ideally want to wait right now for a daily fair value gap right there. You can also use a 4-hour fair value gap potentially to already look to target this draw on liquidity right there. That is quite nice as well. Euro Canadian dollar. I'm waiting for a daily fair value gap higher right now to target this high right there. First target is that high, potentially for this week. Eventually that high and that high, continuing monthly order flow higher right there. So that could be quite nice. Euro New Zealand dollar. I have this weekly fair value gap that I want to wait for right there. It's this weekly fair value gap. Let me delete all this noise. The weekly fair value gap right there. Continue higher off that towards that target. That is also looking quite nice. USD Canadian dollar, we talked about. GBP Canadian dollar, right here. We can also look to continue higher potentially. This one, I would need more price action. Ideally a daily fair value gap higher to work with. I just not too certain on it, not 100% sold on it, but I don't know. Just need more price action to work with here. GBP New Zealand dollar, we have this weekly target right there. We have a weekly fair value gap there as well. Then if we can do something like this potentially, that could be nice. If we reach that target first, of course, then I'm not interested in shorts or anything. I would want to see this specific scenario right there. That is important as well. So that is currently what I am pretty interested in right now. Then for the what is it? For US dollar pairs, etc. Not really interested. Not really interested. Do you need any ICT experience to join the mentorship? Ideally, some of the basics. You don't need the full ICT experience. But you ideally some of the basic A to Z guide is also fine. And indeed, in the mentorship, it's just step-by-step videos. So it's very easy to understand. Very easy. I have no comment to yesterday's video. Love that beefy beats. Sub, new to your channel. Love it. Hey, love that, Amon. Thank you. Thank you. Hope I pronounced your name right. Hope I pronounced your name right. From France. Love to see it. Hi, everyone. I am late. What did I miss? I am also late. You missed nothing. No. Summed up, summary is US dollar is a bit iffy because we have a month for value to work with. We also have, what is it? FOMC and CPI. And no, not CPI, NFP. Sorry. So I'm mainly looking at the crosses. Yeah, I think quite a lot of people are late, like me, because I also had the daylight time saving thing. What's up, Fabi? What's up? Hi, Andy. How are you doing? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Love that. Are dollar pairs low probability during a week where there's news? Not necessarily. No. It's just the certain news. So it's the big three we talk about. If you, what I would advise is the what is it? The time and price video I recently uploaded. That one is quite nice. Goes over a lot. Is mentorship available again in November? Yes, likely the end of November. Somewhere midway through November or end of November. I'm thinking that we end it so that enrollment will be from somewhere mid-November towards likely just before Christmas. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Let me see. Thank you, WWE headlines. Thank you. Thank you. BTS forever. What is this? What is this? I can't understand a thing you're saying, my friend. I can't even pronounce your name. Oh, love that. What's up, Marina? How are you doing? How much should I risk if I'm in 3% drawdown from the maximum 10% drawdown in my challenge? I would say 0.5%, my friend. 0.5%. Korean. It's Korean. Korean. Interesting. Good day, Dutchman. Good day. How are you doing? Let me see. I saw a question, but yeah. New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar, and natural gas. Let's go over them. Yeah, I actually saw natural gas and it did the complete opposite of what I expected, which was very interesting. Let's go over that first. So right here, of course, when that first sign is that this candle, that Wednesday, closed inside the daily Fair gap, this leg should ideally hold, which it of course didn't right there. So this is quite interesting right now, where I would say, all right, we're clearly not sweeping that high, so we can head for something higher. Let's see what the monthly is doing. Monthly just expanding higher. Could even head for the next fair gap or the overlapping lows, which did it already reach for? Not quite yet. Let's see. Reach for those wicks right there. Yes, it did. All right. Interesting. Interesting. Overall, monthly. Okay. Then on the weekly right now, what are we doing? Not creating a weekly fair gap just yet. But of course, continuing higher with a huge gap, which I don't like. But we do have a huge gap right there. Ideally overlapping with the highs right there. That is where potentially we can continue higher off of that. To target weekly, we have a few fair gaps as well, but we're inside this bigger monthly fair gap. I could see why we want to go lower right now, because we're coming into that breaker overlapping with the fair gap. So like we mentioned right here, either the standalone fair gap or the overlapping part, which we can continue lower off of. So I can see why we would want to continue lower right now. I can also see why we would want to continue higher. So it's very 50-50 for me right now. So in this case, ideally, I want to see what we do here. If we respect that high, so not coming into that, because if we're coming into that, then I would expect lower prices. If we come into that high right now, I would want to see higher prices off of that, targeting potentially this monthly fair gap right there. If that doesn't happen and we have a big rejection lower, then I would still say, all right, yes, I still think we are heading towards these lows right there. So that is my thought process behind that. Then New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. Let's see what we want to do. New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. Monthly. Monthly, not super clear. We still have bullish intention right here, but weekly, also not super clear. And on the daily time frame right here, we failed to take out that low. Now, the place where price wants to continue lower from, if it does want to continue lower, is this daily fair gap right there. That daily fair gap right there should get respected to continue lower. If that doesn't happen and we disrespect this daily fair gap, then I would say, all right, we're heading towards that high. So again, that's because I'm a bit 50-50 on, you could see it as well in natural gas, what I just did. I set those boundaries that if this, if that, if this, if that. If we want to continue lower right now, we will continue lower off of that fair gap right there. If we do not do that, then the target is switched towards that high right there. That is my thought process behind that. Finally, you can attend the live stream. Love that, Shanghai. Thank you. Love that. Love that. By the way, if for anyone that send me an email, I will go over my emails today as well. My emails are very busy, so I need to check them quite often. So if you have not had a response just yet, don't worry, you will get them. No worries. Hello from Oman. Where is that, Oman? Thanks for your amazing content. Any indication on the next enrollment? I'm in a waiting list. Yes, Hassan, love that. Hassan, on the next enrollment will likely be mid-November, end of November. So after the sort of 15th of November, I'm thinking to put the enrollment in mid-November towards the end of Christmas, somewhere around that. And then everyone can enjoy, if you are, of course, celebrating it, Christmas and New Year's, etc. And then, yeah, we can go from there. So that is what I'm thinking. So a bit more time, Hassan, and you will be there. You'll be there. No worries. What is your screen time on daily basis? What session do you trade most? That is very interesting because I just made a video for the mentorship as well on using alerts and how you would go about using alerts and minimizing your screen time. Ideally, and I talked about this and I made an example on the trades I took on Euro, New Zealand dollar. So I'll actually go over it really quick. New Zealand dollar, US dollar right here. I wanted to see lower prices off of this daily fair gap right there with the lows. So once I saw that, my first alert is right there. I'm waiting for it to come into that. My most chart time, my most screen time is based on the higher time frame. The most hard work, or the hard work, it's not really hard work, but the hardest work, relatively seen, is done on the higher time frame. So once we have that daily alert ticked off, perfect. Go into the 15-minute time frame. I wait for my ST, alert goes off. I check again, set a new timer for 45 minutes because it takes 45 minutes to create a 15-minute fair value gap. So I set a new alert, set a new timer, goes off, perfect. So once this right there, that fair value gap is being created, that right there was my entry. So then my screen time is about what? The day before, I would argue, when I do my analysis, my higher time frame analysis, so before I go to bed, etc., it's around usually 30 minutes maximum, 20 minutes usually, the forecast videos. And then afterwards, in the morning, when I do look at the chart again, I just go over my my interest list. At the top of my interest list was New Zealand dollar, US dollar, I believe. And if it's still agreeing to the ID, then my screen time is maybe what, 15 minutes before I actually get into the trade. So my screen time, I wanted to keep as low as possible. And that is just purely based on the reason that psychology-wise, it is very beneficial. And the more chart time or the more screen time someone has on a particular day, likely they are going to force an ID. Because let's say before I took the entry right there, I was staring at this chart the whole time. At London right there. Then before my entry was there, that would have took me 4 hours. 4 hours or 3 hours and 30 minutes. Something like that. Before I got to my entry. In that time period, you know how much room there is for error. For me to flick through other pairs, force an ID, force a trade ID, maybe mismanage my trade, etc. Whatever is going on, right? Because I limit my time to maybe 15 minutes to look at the screen, it's very easy to also do something else. So in the meantime, I'm maybe, I don't know, answering emails or whatever I'm doing at that time. And that keeps my psychology in check, keeps my focus in check. There's no risk of me messing up my trade ID, of me forcing something, of me messing up my risk management, etc. Because I'm doing the exact same thing when I'm in the trade. I walk away until we create new fair value gaps. That's what I'm doing. So in that moment, there's no room for me to mess up in my psychology. So someone who stares at their chart for 6 hours or 4 hours before they have a trade ID, or someone who takes 15 minutes, who's likely going to last longer in their psychology? The one who has only 15 minutes of chart time at that particular moment. So that one is likely going to take the competition's liquidity because that other person will likely mismanage the trade, force an ID, etc. So that is how it goes. That is my insight on that. Oof. Let me see. What's that daylight time saving thing? Yeah, it's the clock goes back 1 hour. I forgot the reason why it actually is a thing. I do not like it personally. As in, I just would rather just have one time throughout the whole year. But it is what it is. But yeah, it's where the clock goes back 1 hour. And then Europe, etc. already has done it this week. So we did it last night. And then America, North America, etc. will do it, I believe, next week. Or the week after that. I'm not too certain. It's on Forex Factory as well. I will never do backtesting sessions personally on YouTube. And I also don't really do it on Mentorship. I did it once, I believe. But it's not really backtesting session, it's more a studying session. Backtesting is not really something I do. It's very detrimental. Very detrimental for a human being, for a trader. Let me check really quick. The changed state of delivery is just a fancy word for fair value gaps. That's it. If I buy the cheaper package, what do I get? For the essential, you get basically everything, every video that is also inside the masterclass. Masterclass just as extra things. But if you want the full breakdown on that, then do send me an email. Send me an email at info@ario.io, and I will go over it for you on what you actually get for it. Just to touch on it a little bit easier with visuals as well. So to show you what's inside it, etc. Detrimental is essentially the opposite of beneficial. Where beneficial is good for you, detrimental is bad for you. So backtesting is detrimental because it's bad for you in a sense because you're building bad habits. That's why. My friend, I do have to say, if you spam questions, then the odds of me answering your question decrease by 100%. It's very funny how the world works. It's like balance in the world. Because if you spam a question, then I'm less likely to answer your question than if you just answer it, if you ask it once. If I do not answer your question, if you ask it one time, then it's just simply because I missed it. So don't take it personal. But spamming a question, then I definitely won't answer the question. It's a fancy word for order block for me because when I have create, yeah, exactly, yeah, exactly. Let me see. The kill zones are still the same. So the kill zones, what you would do is with daylight time savings, is essentially what you're doing with the kill zones is the exact same. You put it to New York local time right there at the top, the bottom right. And you just go off of the same exact kill zone times that you had previously. Only thing you need to take into account is, of course, your local time. But other than that, it's still the exact same. Might have to get it, to be honest. Which one? The essential package? Just let me know. Just let me know and we can go over it. We can, of course, go over it. Yeah, Hope was also in the essential mentorship. There's quite a few people that are usually in the live stream as well, with either the masterclass or essential package. So feel free to reach out to them as well, and check other people's opinions as well. And if you want, we can go over the essential package. Send me an email again, and I like to dive into it to see if it is for you, of course, because that is also important. If it's not for you, then there's no point in joining. Is there a big difference between your videos on YouTube and the videos from the masterclass? This is a question I get quite a lot, and yes, there is. As in, the thing is, I think Quentin is also in the masterclass, I believe, right? Yeah, so again, you can ask around here, and there are quite a few people that will help you on that, Cobra. Or you can send an email, but other people's opinions might be better to listen to as well. So is there a big difference between videos on YouTube and the masterclass videos? They are perfectly in line with each other, but the structure in the mentorship and in the masterclass and the videos and the things I touch on, I don't go over in YouTube. So yes, there is a big difference. There is a big difference. Yes, for sure. There is quite a big difference. If you want to see the full difference, then again, I would say send me an email. Yeah, exactly, Hassan. That would be a great idea. That would be a great idea. What do you advocate for if backtesting is detrimental? I would advocate for hindsight backtesting only, hindsight backtesting just to get to know your entry pattern, etc. From that forward, only forward testing, only live trading. That's it. No backtesting at all. Because usually what I notice is that people, and I also notice that in myself, and I see it a lot nowadays because you have tools like FX Replay, which there's nothing wrong with it, but FX Replay is like a new dopamine hit where people try to get the best data, try to get the best statistics, and they have those very nice statistics according to FX Replay, and then they start live trading and it's completely shit. And you're like, well, that didn't really work, did it? So that backtesting is like, and then they come up with a new strategy and they go into FX Replay again and they're like, let me test this new strategy. And then they're like, oh, look at this stats. It's even better than the one I had last time. Then they do live trading again. It's again shit. And they lose and they blow an account again. So it just doesn't work because it's not live. You need live experience. So yeah, that's my view on it. Is the narrative and the context the same thing? Many gurus just talk about, but they can't really set it clearly. That's a great question. And let me actually, before I say wrong, let me refer to my notion that I made on that particular video. Because narrative, or there's two things. We have bias and we have narrative. Bias is where are we likely heading? So let me explain it for you clearly in depth. Let me see. On the daily time frame right here, on New Zealand dollar, US dollar, we had bias. Our bias was bearish. Why is my bias bearish? Very simply, because we're already going lower. So we're already going lower, which leads to my bias being bearish. Narrative is, how are we delivering towards the lower prices? So the narrative becomes, where are we going lower from? So like you said perfectly, narrative is your context. So the context right here is, where are we going low from? Fair value gap to continue lower from that. So again, yes, you said it perfectly. So that is how you define it, actually. If that makes sense. Nice to meet you, my Korean friend. I think Korean. I'm not too sure, to be honest. I'm not too sure. Informax, send me an email or navigate towards the website, and we'll go over it, my friend, for sure. Just wanted to say thanks, Ario, for all your kind and hard work with these streams. No worries, no worries. Thank you for supporting it. Otherwise, it would have been a whole different story. Thank you. CFTC report on crude oil. That's not really something I do look at, to be honest. I mainly look at price action itself. Do you watch Naruto? I personally do not watch Naruto. No. I'm not a big anime fan myself. Do you mind how much RR you averagely make a month, bro? For sure. I don't mind at all. And the data, what did I send on the data? I keep forgetting. If you don't mind, how much RR do you average a month? What was it last time? Because last time that I sent the stats out was 2 months ago, I believe, 1 month ago, and it was like I averaged 7 RR, I believe, but that was 7%. So that RR might be a little bit higher, depending on how much I risk. Of course, if I risk 0 to 5%, then the average is 14 RR. And that was also Delirium trading plan. And currently, I'm more so focused on Delirium trading plan and as well Flow trading plan. So on Tuesday, I actually made 6 RR. So again, that depends really much. Average around, I like to aim for 8 RR. 8 RR, that is the average, I would say. Does the choppy price action on dollar make low probability even if there's time plus price? Yes. Yes, it does. If it's choppy, then yes, for sure, it is. But usually then already price is not agreeing, right? The last video you said I will be talking tomorrow. I forgot what it was. Oof, my friend, to be honest, I also forgot what it was. What did I say? What did I mention? I think I remember. Yeah, it was New Zealand dollar, US dollar, right? It was here that I talk about this tomorrow, where we now have this weekly fair value gap right there. So then yeah, that's what I want to talk. Yo, it's a great suggestion. That's a great reminder, actually. So we had this New Zealand dollar, US dollar right here. Now we are creating a weekly fair value gap. So you want to zoom out again, where the context on the daily is gone. Weekly fair value gap above that daily context. This right now has no valid premium array right there holding from trading into that weekly fair value gap right there. Meaning, if we have a 4-hour fair value gap higher right now, then that is less resistant to trade into that weekly fair value gap. So that's quite nice. So yeah. Are you an Ajax fan? It's a great question. I am. I would say if it comes to Europe, yes. But if it comes to European football, then I'm a Dutch fan. As in, I'm just whatever is Dutch, I support. Even Ten Hag on how he's doing at Manchester United, but even Ten Hag. There's a lot of info in your YouTube channel. What would I get more from your mentorship, please? Been studying ICT all the years, so not a newbie. Perfect. That is perfect. So if you have watched the YouTube videos on my channel, the transition into the mentorship is truly amazing. And again, that is not me saying that. That is my students mostly saying that. And they always tell me the videos you put out on YouTube, they are great. But the mentorship has extra concepts, has the extra details, because something like an ST is something people think they know when they come into the mentorship, and then they come into the mentorship, and then they're like, ah, okay, so this is an ST. And the structure in the content is truly amazing. That's not something you'll get on YouTube. As in, the structure inside the mentorship is truly, with every video you watch, you're getting closer to creating your own training plan, to creating that own profitable, unique edge. And that is truly the difference with the concepts as well, which not every concept I touch on in YouTube. So yes, the YouTube is great, but yes, I always tell the mentorship is like, yeah, if you like the YouTube, of course, if you don't like it, then the mentorship, you also don't like it. But if you like the YouTube, then yes, you will also like the mentorship even more. Are you checking cricket, World Cup cricket? Yesterday, Netherlands won against Bangladesh. I did not actually, but last time I heard someone in Discord also mentioned that we beat, I don't know, what was it? India or something? I don't know. I'm learning your A to Z guide. It's amazing how you pass on knowledge. I can already see a lot of progress. I can see it on the chart. When I finish the A to Z from YouTube, I want to join your mentorship. Love that. Love that. I'm going to see how far I can go with your A to Z and YouTube content with the intention of progressing to mentorship. Believe me, and this is also what I say, is that I don't, as in, I'm not forcing you to join the mentorship, because the YouTube, I would not make the YouTube videos if I didn't think they were enough. So, it's the only thing is that in the mentorship, I might point to things more clearly, in a sense. Where, for example, order flow is not necessarily something I'm going to touch on YouTube. So, I'm sorry. But that is something I go very in depth on in the mentorship. Yeah, cricket is not really popular in the Netherlands. It's not really. Someone from Groningen I just saw. I forgot. Sometimes I read messages and just forget it. I don't know why, but I don't know why. Exactly. Hank said it perfectly. Get some tape reading hours. Yes, yes, please, yes. That is very important. That is very important. Yeah, IMR. Exactly my thoughts as well. It's like, why does it even exist, right? It's like, you're just messing up my schedule. It's so annoying. So annoying. So annoying. Let me see. At least, well, someone said they were from Groningen, and I would love to answer them. My family is also from Groningen. I believe they said that. I can't remember where it was. Crazy. Part in the Robins Cup. I saw what was it? I saw people talking about the Robins Cup again. That's funny. It's usually Robins Cup is more so it's more so an ego thing, no? Ah yeah, from Groningen. Yeah, I love that. I'm from Harderwijk. Harderwijk. Yeah, my family is from Groningen. Love that. You saw the Classico? No, I did not. But what was it? Jude Bellingham did the thing. He scored the 90-minute winner. Pretty sick. I did see Fury versus Ngannou. Limburg here. Love that. Love that. Football and F1 is popular. Facts. That is very true. Yeah, Fury and Ngannou was pretty sick. Pretty nice. But to be honest, not too sure who I think. I think, I don't know if anyone saw it, but I think Ngannou could have won. But Fury was just, he's the boxer because he goes like the points. You could clearly see it just goes for the points. Love that, Marina. And I will be profitable. I keep love that. Love that. Absolutely love that. And it's just so, Peter, what I do, how do you, good morning, by the way. How do you determine bias and narrative? What I do is for determining bias and narrative. It's pretty easy, actually. Let's go over Euro CHF. No. Sometimes I automatically say Dutch words, which is very interesting. It's the Dutch accent in me as well. So, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar right here. the thing we are seeing is that what is the bias? Just coming into it, what is the bias? What is a discount array or premium array that we can reach for next? That is a bias, essentially. A bias is, all right, what have we done? Overall, we have been, and this is very easy, right? Overall, we've been bullish. We've been supporting bullish prices. All right, what is price likely reaching for? As in, what is a target? A target is just any of the PD arrays. That can be mitigation block, order block, fair value gap, breaker block, what was it? Swing low, swing high. Those are the 5, right? Those are the 5 PD arrays that I use. I don't use anything else. And the reason why I don't use anything else, because then the target is not clear anymore. And you don't need anything else, believe me. So right there, this swing high is the next target. Even that swing high, but on a weekly basis, that swing high is very nice. So that is the target. All right, we are going higher. Then the narrative is, how can we deliver towards that target? Well, we need a discount array because we're expecting higher prices. We need a discount array to deliver towards that target. Here on the daily, what are we seeing? We are coming off of that fair value gap, which is just a discount array, continuing higher off of that. All right, will we create a new daily fair value gap here before we continue higher? Could do it. What do we see on Monday? We have time supporting the ID for Australian dollar as well. On the 4 hour, we could already see this 4 hour fair value gap right now hold to continue higher off of that. And that creates the narrative bias. Where are we going to? Narrative, how can we deliver there? Who is going to win Ballon d'Or in your opinion? Messi, because it's, well, yes, it's difficult to answer because Messi, but maybe I'm a bit biased. Maybe I'm a bit biased, but Messi, as in, I think it might be a little bit rigged. But of course, he has done great things. But Haaland has been absolutely insane. But I think Messi is, of course, the better footballer. As in, Haaland just puts the ball in the net. And other than that, it's not really moi. But yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Funny. Hiro, I've been watching you since 5-6 months now. I've been trading on demo. So what should be the next step on the road to fund it? If you can afford it, I would always advise, and this is not financial advice, understand that, then I would always advise to go into a live account. So because demo is great, but demo will still not do it. As in, you need that live experience. That is important. You absolutely need that live experience. So, and again, that can be a very small amount, right? It doesn't have to be a 100K account. No, it can be the smallest account. That is very important. Love that, Marcus. Welcome, welcome. Love that. Love that. I like it. This week's economic calendar is crazy. It is. It is. It is. Very true. Very true. From Berlin. Love to see it. Love that. When I already took a trade, set SL and TP. Should I still watch the chart or leave it? Because sometimes the price is choppy at first, makes me feel so scary, and I collapse the trade. That is right. Yes, that is very true. And that is also why I would advise to leave the trade. And of course, it really depends because we still need to manage that risk. But managing that risk usually comes with, is there a reason for price to return? If there's no reason for price to return anymore, that is when we can go break even. Meaning that we need to use alerts. And we can, in the meantime, walk away, etc. And then we can manage through our alerts and our timers. Because usually when price has no reason to come back, it's because of fair value gaps. That is important. Are you not afraid that someone might leak your videos from the mentorship? People already tried to. I'll tell you that. People already tried to, but we got everything off of the internet. So it's not out there anymore. And because we work in a certain way as well with enrollments, it's very funny because you can't really leak it. As in, don't try to because you'll get a copyright claim on your ass and you get sued. But yeah, that's it. It's quite funny. What broker on TradingView do you use to view charts? When it's Forex, I use forex.com personally. Not a particular reason for it. I've also seen Owanda play out where I was waiting, for example, for a daily fair value gap to hit. And Owanda played out and Forex.com, I just missed a move, which is very unfortunate. But what is it on forex.com? I mostly use for Forex. Then for the indices, I use the official futures chart. So that is CME, which is a paid package. Then on dollar, I use TVC right there. Which the official one is actually ICE-US. Which also is a paid package. But this is the official one. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. You say you will not talking about order flow on YouTube. I know you don't know how to shut your mouth. I just that is also very true. I say I won't talk about order flow on YouTube, but people in the mentorship, that's funny because people in the mentorship already know I have touched on order flow in YouTube, but it's just that mentorship that actually then you get the insiders in. Ah, okay, this is it. So yeah, it's really funny, but you're right. I like that. Let me see. Let me see. I like that people are connecting on the Discord. Zord and Reinsen. I like that. I like that. Very nice. Love that. Creating community. I also thought about creating a free community, which would be probably invite only, but it would be free. Just invite only because otherwise it would, I don't know. Those free Discords, they are nice, but they just get very messy and they get abandoned a lot of the time. And yeah, and the free Discord would don't expect too much from it because me myself, I don't really have a lot of time to be able to manage that, but I would be in it. Let's see. South Africans, there's quite some few South Africans here, actually. It's quite a few. How much capital on average do you need to trade meaningfully? Really depends on where you live, of course. Cost of living, as in here in Amsterdam, you would need a bit more than you would need in, I don't know, name a country, Colombia, for example, or even Indonesia, something like that. But really depends on where you live. Also depends on what your current occupation is, as in your job, how much do you currently make, etc. Ideally, you want to have as much capital where you can risk 0.25% and still make enough money for you to live very comfortably. So, for example, if you need to make 2,500 a week, then yes, you can make 10% on a 25k account. But doing that every week, that's going to be a pain in the ass. So ideally, you want to have something like potentially maybe a 100k account where you can comfortably risk 0.5%. So no risk of blowing that account and still make that money comfortably with low risk. You want to make as much money with as least risk as possible. Can you please mark the recent market structure dates, intermediate short terms in EU? I want to know if I'm correct. For sure, my friend. Of course. EU right here. And the days, right? Structure days. Let me see. So we have this intermediate term low that is sitting right there, which is this one. Let me delete everything just to get it clearer. Intermediate term low. This was short-term high. That intermediate term low breaks short-term high. Short-term low as well. Then we have this short-term high, short-term low still for me. Then this can become a potential intermediate term high because we're coming off of something on the higher time frame. This is currently short-term high, short-term low right there, and short-term high as well right there. So that is very fast for it. I appreciate the streams. Love that. Thank you. Appreciate you being here, of course. Do you mind checking out HSI? Of course. Let's go over it. HSI. What is that actually? HSI. Ah, yes, it's this one. We also did an analysis on it last week, I think. Quite interesting. Let me know if I have the correct one, of course, because I might just look at the wrong things. Monthly, I would say you might be heading towards that low. just simply because there's no discount rate holding price. So there's no resistance anymore. Weekly, that low right there is quite nice. Then on the daily right now, daily, ideally I would want to see lower prices off of this daily value gap. That is very nice to now continue lower. So what I would do here is go into the 4 hour value gap right there to continue lower off of that. That is what I would be looking at right here. That is potentially quite interesting. If we don't do that, then the target would switch and I would more so look at these premium arrays right there. Ooh. Love that. Love that. I live good of my 150k funded. Yeah, that is a great amount. That is a great amount. Hi, Ari from Colombia. New in your channel. Love that. Welcome, welcome. Bienvenidos, I think. No? I'm learning Spanish, but yeah. Do you have a beginner learning plan / roadmap? I need to work on that. I need to work on that. I need to work on that. That would be that's a great suggestion though. That is a great suggestion. Yeah, I talked about Zord. I talked about narrative and bias when Peter asked it a little bit earlier. I exactly went over bias and narrative. I do not use long-term high and long-term low because it's not beneficial in my eyes. As in, it's more so confusing than it is any beneficial. Yeah, I did twice, right? I went over bias and narrative twice, actually. Yeah. Good deal, Pablo. Good deal. Yo te enseño el español. What does that mean? What is it? I can teach you español? I don't know. I'm such a noob when it comes to Spanish. No, the price of the mentorship will go up eventually, yes. And I can confidently say that, and that's just because of maybe the essential will stay the same, but even the essential will probably go up because the content will become more. And the demand is also higher for the masterclass. So for me, in order for me to be able to handle it, I also want to keep it that way. And the main thing is that I want to be the only mentor in a sense. As in, might have a support team around me, but it's my brain that I want to share with everyone. So I don't want to have different mentors with different opinions, which is very important for me. So yeah, but if you send an email to me, then you will always have the right for the original prices. If I can see that we had contact before, then you will always have the right to the prices that are currently there. If you send an email to me. So yeah. I have 4 funded 50Ks with Apex features, but only activated 1 and blew it this week. I came back from minus 2K and made 400 on a day. Blew the account. I've been trading for a year now, but emotions are hard. Emotions are hard. And I'm glad you are in that state. Or, well, glad, of course, because you're improving and you're sort of realizing, because that is a big realization, is that emotions and psychology are the hardest part to overcome eventually. The technicals really are not that difficult. The emotions are very difficult. And that's also something we go over in the mentorship. Now, you don't need to be in a mentorship to be fully able to understand that. But emotions work in cycles. Like you have your cycle with a breaker pattern or with your ST, etc. You need to have one step, then the second step, then the third step for something to happen in order for you to take a trade, for example. In your emotions, when you mess up, before you mess up, you also have something that happens. You have a cycle that's happening. So maybe you start tapping your foot on the ground. That is a sign of you potentially getting nervous, getting anxious. That is a sign that you need to break with injecting logic. So there's a mechanical step on how you can also overcome that. And as well, I saw a great suggestion right here with what is it? By Gang, start to meditate. Meditating also helps a lot, for sure. From Morocco, love that. I would love to visit Morocco as well. It would be very nice. Which is the correct way to follow your videos? A to Z course and then Mentorship? Yeah, I would say A to Z guide. Start from the A to Z guide. Everything before that, not necessarily interesting. It's still interesting, but A to Z guide. From that on, after A to Z guide, potentially Mentorship, and even A to Z guide, you can combine it with the Mentorship. It will make a lot more sense. And then the latest videos, you can also just watch them after the A to Z guide, or also combine them with the Mentorship. So yeah, you have it perfectly. Appreciate the hard work for us. No worries, King. No worries, no worries. No worries at all. I appreciate you being here. Are the 90 minutes windows real or imagined? Well, it's like 90 minutes or everything in price is real if you want it to be real. As in, support and resistance is real if you want it to be real. Order blocks are real if you want it to be real. It's whatever you believe in that is real. That creates your reality. Now, do not get vague and go over all the religious things, but it's whatever you want to use is real. So 90 minutes windows, you can make it work as long as you stick to it. That's the same with everything in trading. If you stick to it, then you are going to make it work. So, but usually people use 90-minute windows because they are trying to find something golden, something hidden, something holy grail, like that will make them or give them a 100% win rate and they will never lose. And if you're looking for that, then it doesn't work. So yeah, that's my thought on that. Perfect. I was right on the Spanish. Sí, hablo español. What can I say? ¿Qué puedo decir? Come on. What can I say, guys? I speak Spanish. I'm joking. Yeah, that is actually a thing, Hope. That is a thing that I'm working on, actually. I've reached out to the money making team, or reached out to send a message, tagged everyone, and I was like, all right, for the people that are funded, I would love to give an interview or do an interview, of course, if you're open for it, because I can also understand that a lot of people are not waiting for thousands of people to see them getting funded or share their story. It can also be a little bit scary. I can understand that. I can understand it. Nifty is bullish, yes. I can see that for sure, for certain. But that is a great suggestion, actually, I hope. That is for certain a great thing. All right, then currently I'm going to end it here. I will see everyone. I will see everyone on Tuesday, of course. On Tuesday, I need to understand. All right, 11 a.m. 11 a.m. New York local time. So that is an hour earlier for me than usual. Daylight time savings. Of course, the kill zones don't change. So just stick to your New York local time and you will be fine. Then thank you, everyone. I will see you at the next one on Tuesday. And love you all. And thank you. All right, perfect.